Ragazzi, benvenuti su un'altra puntata del Calice Nero con appunto il nostro amico dell'oscurità che non mancherà mai. Allora, oggi un'intervista ultra mega speciale, saluto a Tony. Allora, veramente una delle interviste più interessanti del Calice Nero con una delle band death metal che è riuscita a scrivere la storia dal 91 in poi, niente poco di meno che appunto Martin from Centinex.
Hello, Martin. Welcome to Il Calice Nero. Of course, the Maestro said only good things about you, since he's really a fan, very long-term fan of Centinex, as we all are here. And basically, we can start this interview Friday. Grab your beer, grab your water, grab your drink, and we can start to going depth into all the word of Centinex and stuff. Just a few seconds. Guys, if you are not familiar with English or Italian, if you are watching us from Italy or abroad, you can turn on the CC button, which is the automatic subtitles on YouTube, so you can follow us. But we will try to translate properly everything Martin will say tonight. So without further ado, I will pass the word to the Maestro. Mirrored. Maestro, inizia tu con la prima domanda e poi andiamo subito a rispondere.
Ok, allora, i Centinex, che tipo di pittura riescono a fare con il loro death metal e allo stesso tempo il death metal dei Centinex all'interno di chi ascolta la prima volta la vostra band, che sensazioni e vibrazioni riesce ad avere per non morire di infarto subito al primo pattern di batteria o riff di chitarra?
So Martin, the Maestro is asking about a connection between the Centinex death metal sound with some artistic part of it, just like paintings and stuff like that. And if you can connect the audience with what kind of emotion fits properly the music of Centinex.
Well, I don't know if there's like really any special emotion. I mean, for us, Centinex has always been like a death metal band, and death metal can be different kind of things and different kind of emotions and feelings. But for us, I mean, Centinex has always been about the music, so that's basically it.
And what about imagine the Centinex music under a particular paintings and the artistic part of Centinex? If you can tell us more about it.
Well, yeah, if you would mean that Centinex would be some kind of painting, I would say that. I would more say that Centinex could be like a movie, like a war movie or a horror movie or something.
You basically stole the next question, so we will go in depth about it. Since we are in the Calice Nero interview with not only bands but also horror movie directors here in Italy and abroad. We try to create a connection between art, movies, and metal, basically extreme metal. So it's very good topic that we will go further and further during this interview, since we love it. We love horror music, we love war movies. So before going on this topic, I will translate what you say very quickly. Praticamente loro non parlano di emozioni nella loro musica, ma praticamente dicono che loro fanno death metal, quindi le loro emozioni sono, come lo dico a modo mio, una sorta di pugno nello stomaco, no? E più che parlare di pittura, loro vogliono parlare di film horror e di film di guerra, appunto. E io gli ho detto, vedi che Martin nel nostro podcast abbiamo interessato tanti registi, tante persone connesse col mondo del cinema, e quindi ha praticamente rubato una domanda. So, if we can imagine Centinex as a soundtrack for a movie with this music, what movie should be soundtracked by Centinex?
Ho capito.
Some kind of war movie or horror movie. I don't know if there's like any existing movie that would be suitable, but I can't give any name about any movie, but the music would suit some kind of that kind of movie.
Okay, quindi sempre always war movies, horror movies, but horror of what kind? Splatter, more thrilleristic, introspective, or just raw and fist in your chest?
Yeah, a lot of action.
Okay.
Maybe splatter in a way, but more action, and in a way it should be like a black and white movie, I think.
Oh, okay. So kind of retro vibes.
Yeah, retro vibes. Yes, exactly. With with some kind of mood in the movie, with black and white. More moody stuff. Even if the music is maybe not so moody, still, the movie could.
It would be great to see this kind of two combination between a moody retro film and stuff with your music in the background. It would be very cool. That's a cool perspective of what music can do, because basically the soundtrack, I think, that is important as the movie itself. So we remember a lot of great soundtracks with great movies. So I think that these things could be very interesting also to explain the artistic side of the band, So I want to add something before translating the work question. Since you talk about the mood and stuff, you can explain to the people the mood that you want to recreate in your music, that is not only in your face style, but this kind of association between this retro movie and your music. How can you describe it with a few words, just to make people sure about this kind of image that we are creating right now?
Well, I mean, but let's put it this way. I mean, okay. Centinex is more. Centinex is about music. Centinex has never been anything about any image or anything. So if you listen to a Centinex album, then you are like free to come up with your own ideas and your own imagination in a way, and if you have like a movie in mind, then you can create that own movie in your head and make something out of that. So, but I mean, the band has always been about the music and delivering like good music, and we haven't like really so much thought about anything else like connected to the band. So, but of course, everyone is like free to make their own image of the band and in what way it would suit some kind of movie or painting or whatever.
Okay, interesting point of view, because people can have their own point of view basically listening to the music. Basically, they can create whatever they want, but the band is still focused on the music side. That's right.
Yeah, exactly. Because for us, it has always been about the music, and we don't like really care about what anyone else thinks or what they like want to label the band has some kind of in which direction or which like how it should be labeled. So we create music which we like and which we enjoy, and then it's up to each one listening to the music to create any possible associations to a movie or to a whatever. I mean, in the core of Centinex is still like some kind of entertainment. And then the entertainment for us is music and delivering music. And then some fans who listen to us, they just listen to it because of the music. I don't have any deeper thought about it. And then there are of course some people that maybe then try to paint some kind of picture in their head of and labeling the band or something. So
okay.
But for us, it's basically just music.
Okay, it's also a point of view that we respect and we really like to hear from your mouth, basically, because we are always thinking, what can the artist think in that point or in that side with that riff? But you say that basically Centinex is about entertaining with the music. So you love what you do, of course, and you want to share with the people what you love. In that sense, right?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, we create music, we create death metal, and we play death metal. And then it's up to each and everyone who listens to it how they want to, like, if they want to analyze the music and make something more like deeper of it. But for us, it's just delivering music. So we try to keep it quite simple. I mean, and because I mean, yeah, we can't like start to we don't want to give any like deeper thought about it and start to think that how do other people's what do they think about the music and how will they label it, and will this create some kind of connection or some kind of association to something. We do music, and then it's up to each and everyone.
Okay, clear. We will start to go on basically on the other topics about the Centinex discography and old stuff soon. But let me translate this for example, people like Matteo here or Tony. Good evening, guys, and please make question to Martin, because we want to also give you the chance to be part of the live stream. Ok, quindi ho chiesto alle persone di fare le domande, maestro, perché per essere anche loro parte della diretta. Allora, comunque il discorso che abbiamo fatto con Martin è stato questo: loro creano musica che gli piace, loro vogliono fare death metal, nudo, crudo, in your face, bello incazzato, e non se ne importano molto di associare immagini o associare sentimenti o associare sensazioni. Loro parlano di guerra, di situazioni quasi apocalittiche. Abbiamo parlato anche di accostamenti con un certo film horror in bianco e nero, con una sorta di mood particolare, però alla fine lui dice ognuno può prendere il proprio discorso e accostarlo ai Centinex tranquillamente. E fondamentalmente lui dice noi consegniamo proprio musica, ha detto proprio usato questo termine, noi facciamo musica, ci piace fare musica, lo cerchiamo di essere diretti e semplici come ci piace a noi, e lasciamo sempre un margine di introspezione e di interpretazione, in modo tale che tutte le persone che seguono la nostra musica possano in qualche modo trovare comunque la loro dimensione, quindi non deve essere niente di preconfezionato, precomposto, diciamo attuato, e non vogliono manco mettersi troppo a cercare cose. Loro penso sia il gruppo, uno dei gruppi un po' i maggiori gruppi diretti che abbiamo avuto sul Calice Nero, cioè loro vanno proprio dritto per dritto praticamente, per essere diciamo più diretti. E io ho detto che adesso andremo nella parte più legata agli inizi dei Centinex, in modo tale che iniziamo un po' anche ad introdurre le persone che non li conoscono. Quindi maestro
Martin, tu sei entrato nei Centinex, se non ricordo male, nel 1998 con Reborn Through Flames, se non ricordo male. Tu eri dietro al basso e alla batteria programmata, al drum machine, se non ricordo male. Che sensazioni hai avuto quando sei entrato dentro i Centinex? E ancora prima di entrare dentro i Centinex, tu ascoltavi la loro musica? Il primo show che hai visto, appunto, della band, cosa hai detto? Cosa hai espresso?
Okay, Martin, the maestro is asking about your beginning with Centinex. If we are not mistaken, you entered the lineup at 1998 with Reborn Through Flames. So the maestro is asking about the sensation of joining the Centinex. If you know them before this release, if you were attending some of their show before the joining in their lineup, and how was the first time in that band?
But now I think you got this a bit wrong, because I was the one who started the band. I started the band in 1990, so I have been in the band. I have been in the band all the time. I'm like the only.
Yeah, so you are the founder of the Centinex.
Yeah.
Maestro, what are you saying? Basically, you missed something. It's something
No,
that can happen.
No, perché questa, no, perché ho chiesto questa cosa perché c'è confusione, appunto. Era proprio per avere delucidazioni totali.
Let me explain this. The Maestro is asking about this because there are some misconception around the web where you join or where you found the Centinex, etc., etc. So basically, I forgot to translate that part. Sorry.
Delucidazioni complete finalmente
He wanted to make a some clarity behind the foundation and also the album Reborn to Flames.
Perfetto.
Oh yeah.
Perfetto, così.
But I formed the band in 1990, and we have had quite a few lineup changes during all the years, but I have been there all the time.
Okay.
So but then Reborn Through Flames, that came in 1998. I understand that some questions about it or not.
Yeah, in fact, Massimo here from the band Infernal Angels that we got some weeks ago in the show, he said that he remembers a show in Pavia, the Neil Extreme Fest with Actarus headliner. They say the Centinex were amazing. You remember?
I remember that. I remember that show. I think. Was that in 2004?
I think 2002. Or 2000. The start of the 2000. I think.
Yeah,
I don't remember the exact date of this.
But I do.
Nilo Extreme Fest, but yeah.
Yeah.
And how was this show? I mean, how was the Italian experience?
It was great. We had played in Italy a couple of times before that, like as part of a tour. But I remember that festival in 2004. Remember. But I remember that we played, and I think it was a good fest. I remember that the catering sucked because you are Italians and you are known for your good food. And
for this reason, it's kind of strange to hear that, but
but I mean, everyone is talking about the Italian cuisine. It's so magnificent, and we had on the past shows in the first shows we did in Italy. I think we got some quite good food, and I remember this is quite funny because I mean. Usually I remember shows based on the food and the catering and the backstage hospitality. I don't remember. I don't remember the shows and how we played or whatever, or which bands played, but I remember the food and the drinks and everything. Okay. But I remember that this 2004, the Nihil Extreme Fest, because we were really looking forward to it because we knew that it's a quite big festival. The catering must be really nice. We will get some really good food, but it really sucked. We got like cold pasta with tomato sauce and then some, and we had to wait for that for like, I don't know, 1 hour or something. And then we got some cold French fries. Like we were like 5 people. We got 1 small bowl of French fries, and then also the pasta with the
that's not a typical Italian catering welcome for bands, because we got interview with, for example, Cannibal Corpse or other guys. They say, the catering in Italy were amazing, but there is always an exception. And I hope that you guys will come back in Italy to have a good catering, because I don't know if you played at the south, because I'm from the south of Italy, Napoli. Basically, I'm from Napoli, while the Maestro is from Sardinia, the island. Basically, the South Italy is very well known for good food, but it's something strange to hear from you. But
usually we get like good food, but that's what I mean, that if you're doing a lot of shows and if you like remind me, or if we are talking about the show we did like 10 or 15 or 20 years ago, I don't remember the actual show. I don't remember which bands we played with or what kind of venue it was or something. But what you remember is that if you got some like good food, good hospitality, good drinks, good that everything was arranged in a good way. that's something you remember. That's something you always remember, like many years afterwards when you are talking about some shows. Then if someone in the band asks you, do you remember the show we did in Germany in 2006? But no, I don't remember it. Yeah, but that was the place where we got that good food, blah blah blah. Yeah, that one. Then you remember it. So it's like really important if for a promoter, for a organizer, if you wanna make an impression and make the band remember something, then give them good food. That's like the point.
Yeah, basically you don't remember the exact show, but the whole things behind it, the catering, the welcoming.
I remember the cold pasta, but I don't remember. I mean, which bands played or what kind of venue it was.
In fact, Massimo is ready to repair it because he said, "Please come to me. I will bring you to good food." And he calls about the Verdicchio, which is, I think, his local wine. So
we are
up to fix that. But
okay.
Before going
we're coming tomorrow.
Okay.
Perfect. We can come as fast as possible if it's like good food.
And what I want to ask, since we talked about a little misunderstanding about the who founded who Centinex, you are the founder. Can you describe to us the first time as band, the first rehearsal, the first demos, the atmosphere when you founded the band back in the 90s?
Well, the thing was that when the death metal movement started to rise in 1990, especially in Sweden with all the Swedish bands coming, Entomb, Dismember, Unleashed, Grave, all these bands releasing albums, and we were a couple of guys, like we were friends, and we loved death metal, and we wanted to start playing death metal. But none of us had really any experience of playing in bands or playing together or even like writing death metal songs. But we just wanted to create a band and play death metal because we loved death metal. So we were 5 guys getting together, starting the band, trying to figure out how to play death metal, and really learning by doing during the first 1 year or 2 years or something. So we just started to play and try to. I mean, the whole death metal movement in the early 90s. I mean, there were a lot of bands coming, especially from Sweden. There were some, as you know. I mean, with all these bands coming and creating the very known Swedish sound and everything. So we wanted to be a part of that, and I started with the band, but we didn't really know anything. But we started to create music and made a couple of demos, and all of a sudden we got signed and got the record deal and released the first album and went on from there. But it was really back then, because we were all pretty young. I mean, we were 16, 17, 18, going to school, playing death metal almost every day. Didn't have to worry about anything, just really living some kind of death metal lifestyle or whatever. It was really intense, and it was really good times back then. But everything was completely different back then as it's now.
Just to conclude this kind of first part from basically the first years of Centinex, of your playing death metal, and then I will translate. How was the scene back then? You say bands come and go, but the audience, since the thing was new at the time, can you compare that time with our time? I know that it's really different, but the response, the feedback from people, from metalheads, from people that come from underground shows or the first festival, because Sweden, of course, has a strong movement in death metal. Not only death metal, of course, but also the melodic death metal later. But how you lived this kind of stuff compared to nowadays, basically?
I mean, one of the big differences is that back then you didn't have any internet or email, so everything was really underground. and we lived in still live in a small city, which is like a 2-hour drive north of Stockholm, and most of the death metal concerts were held in Stockholm, and it was quite common to travel to Stockholm, go to a death metal show, and go to the special record death metal record shop in Stockholm to buy the latest death metal albums. And when you were doing shows, the turnouts were great. People were like really into it. Of course, I mean, back then there were a lot of bands in Sweden, but still it wasn't as it's today. Today there are like 1 million bands, but back then there were like a couple of hundred. So even if like the scene was big, but there weren't so many bands, but there were still like there were the bands and the fans, but they were still like hanging together. And in a way it was, nowadays, I mean, death metal is quite almost like mainstream, and it's like so easy accessible through all the like internet and Spotify, and you have it on the national TV, and you have it like everywhere. But back then in the early 90s, death metal was still like underground. It was like an underground movement, and people were traveling like 5-6 hours to go to a Entombed or Dismember show in Stockholm. But nowadays, like kids nowadays, or death metal fans nowadays, they are so used to get everything so easily served. I mean, and there are like 1 million bands and 1 million record labels, and there are like new albums coming out every day. I mean, back in those days, if you got a record deal and released an album, you were still like, that was some kind of proof that the band was something. But today, I mean, everyone can release an album. They put some tracks out on Spotify and call it an album. So in many ways, of course, you shouldn't compare, but in many ways, I think the scene was definitely different back then.
More organic, let's say like this, the scene.
I mean, the scene was, there was a good, like everyone was like, even if in some way like death metal was maybe trendy in the early 90s, or it became a trend, but it was still underground, because it wasn't like featured so much in national media or national TV or whatever. It was still an underground movement, even if there were quite a lot of people into death metal. But nowadays, like, death metal has become quite like mainstream in a way, and so, but it's like, it's really hard to compare. I mean, the whole society, everything was completely different like 30 years ago what it is today. So it's really no use to, like, in that way, like, say that it was better before or it's worse now, or but it was different. But the early 90s in Sweden were like really good times, in my opinion. But no, but that was then, and now it's now. And
basically, it's not a comparison, just to your own opinion, because you lived that time. A lot of people, for example, here in Italy, we had the completely different things back in the 90s. For example, I was born in 96. My brother was born in 90, so we lived in a different way metal music. So for us, have this kind of consideration and opinions of that time. It can be things that we can pick the best of that time and the best of our time to create something new. Basically, it's not what is better or worse. So let's. I will translate this for people because they are asking in the comments, and we will go further with the next question. Allora, Alan, abbiamo parlato del fatto che finiamo con le misconception. Lui è il fondatore dei Centinex dagli anni 90 e ha detto, riguardo lo show a Pavia al Nil Extreme Fest, lui ha detto che praticamente non si ricorda bene gli show, ma si ricorda come sono stati trattati a livello di organizzazione e catering. In quel momento, purtroppo, noi italiani abbiamo avuto, con la nomea del catering migliore, abbiamo fatto una brutta figura facendo aspettare loro varie ore per un piatto di pasta e per solamente una porzione di patatine. Ho detto io, ovviamente cerchiamo le prossime volte maniera un po' scherzosa di rimediare a questa cosa, e loro ovviamente sperano di ritornare quanto prima. Gli ho chiesto riguardante la situazione proprio questa questione degli show, di come sono trovati, dei tour. Loro dice che non si sono tanto ricordati lo show nel complesso, tutto ciò che c'era dietro, cioè loro non si ricordano tanto la serata, quante persone hanno avuto, ma come sono stati trattati, la risposta, l'organizzazione, eccetera eccetera. E quindi a loro piace vivere tutto quello che c'è dietro alla musica, tutto quello che c'è dietro al rincontrarsi, vivere la cosa. Però a ragione gli ho chiesto com'era la scena all'inizio degli anni 90 e lui mi ha detto che era completamente diverso, perché c'erano tante band a Stoccolma, loro erano a 2 ore da Stoccolma, quindi dovevano spostarsi molto, però la società era molto più lenta, era molto un'altra cosa, c'era il tape trading ovviamente, penso si riferisca a quello, quando ha parlato anche di record store, a Stoccolma sempre, poche etichette, pochi show, poche band, però era molto più underground. Dice adesso comunque underground 100% non lo sei mai, perché hai internet, hai Facebook, penso si riferisca a quello, a tutte queste comunità che prima non c'erano, ma anche la società è diversa. Quindi lui non dice tanto era meglio prima, era meglio dopo, ma semplicemente erano tempi diversi. E io ho aggiunto a fine domanda, semplicemente detto: guarda, io sono nato nel 96, per esempio mio fratello più grande è nato nel 90, a noi piace tanto confrontarci con band del loro calibro, perché alla fin fine vogliamo prendere il meglio di quei tempi, il meglio dei nostri tempi, perché viviamo comunque in un'epoca un po' di apatia, no? Perché abbiamo tante cose, lo dice anche lui, tante uscite, tante band, quindi è difficile dare il punto della situazione. Detto ciò, maestro, continuiamo avanti con le nostre domande. Poi vedo che c'è una domanda di Massimo su Decadence. Dopo arriviamo a Decadence, non vi preoccupate, amici. Quindi vai, maestro, vai.
Allora, nel 1991 uscì Stupid Humanity, appunto la demo di debutto dei Centinex. Questa demo, se andiamo a ricordarla, quale sarebbe la track perfetta per descrivere un film horror e quanto questa track potrebbe entrare dentro un matatoio o dentro un ospedale psichiatrico?
Okay, Martin, the maestro is asking about the first demo, Stupid Humanity. And if you can, if you can pick one song of the demo, because he loves horror movies, okay? So you say, okay, I want to ask him what song can fit, for example, an horror movie with basically a creepy hospital or that dark mood like that. So going back to your first stuff.
Yeah,
I will not. He's asking the demo. I'm asking if you can pick something even from Subconscious Lobotomy or End of Life. So talking about 1991 and 1992. If you can pick not the best song, because I think that you love every song you published so far, if I'm correct. But
yeah, of course.
If you can pick one song from those first, let's say, first wave of Centinex, what you will pick to fit that kind of mood, this darkish, horrorish stuff that basically I know that you answered already that feelings and emotion are something personal from each one, but we want to know your opinion about it.
First of all, about the Stupid Humanity demo, it was like really we don't even consider it as a real demo. It's more like a rehearsal tape for us. We recorded it in our rehearsal room. It was also like a small local studio, so we were able to record it. But that was like that demo was recorded just a few months after we had started the band, so it sounds like shit. And it's not even death metal, I think. So, and it was like we printed like, I don't know, 50 copies maximum and gave it away to friends or something. So we don't consider that as a real demo tape. So what we see as the first real demo is the End of Life demo from summer of 1991, which we recorded at Sunlight Studios in Stockholm. That was like the real first demo for us.
Okay.
But yeah, anyway, I think the first track on our first album, on the Subconscious Lobotomy album, the track Blood on My Skin.
Oh, okay.
That's
the first one, basically. First
the first track on the first album. That's a track that is still, I mean, even if it's like 30 years old, it's still that's a track that somehow describes the Centinex sound back then, and it's something that could suit a movie or whatever. So that's like one of the favorites.
Okay. We will go. I want to talk about the evolution of Centinex during the years, but let me translate this to the people that are asking to give more in-depth question. Okay, guys, no problem. We have Martin here. Ask him questions, no problem. It's very he had very good time with us to stay with us for an hour. So make questions and interact with him, because we are really thank you, Martin, for being here, because for us it's very cool stuff for Il Calice Nero. So I hope that you are enjoying the interview. Anyway,
absolutely. Yeah, it's Friday evening.
Yeah.
We have some.
I hope that we do not wasting your time to do something.
No. I'm just sitting at home, and I never go anywhere. So it's okay.
How is the weather nowadays in Sweden? Here in Italy is freaking cold right now. It's not. We are near spring, but it's kind of like winter. It's the same in Sweden.
But what is freaking cold for you?
I don't know. I don't know if the same. What about 10 degrees Celsius? 10? It's hot for you? I don't know. I'm from the south, so basically here.
No, the spring is coming here also. I mean, we have some minus degrees in the night, but during the days you have like between 5 and even up to 10 degrees. So now the spring is coming and the snow is melting, so it's great.
Ok, fatemi un attimo tradurre, se no diventa tutto in inglese, ma il nostro buon Martin fortunatamente è una buona parlantina, quindi lo lasciamo parlare volentieri. Allora, praticamente lui parla che il primo demo, quello che di solito viene detto come demo, sia Stupid Humanity, per loro non è una demo, ma è solamente una cassetta registrata durante i primi mesi della loro formazione, e loro lo considerano proprio una registrazione di prova che poi hanno regalato agli amici, non eravamo anche in commercio, non stavamo giusto una ventina di copie. La loro prima demo è End of Life, che considerano tale, però lui dice, riguardo alla domanda proprio tua, del tuo maestro, lui non si sente di dare una canzone di queste demo, ma bensì del primo album, che è Subconscious Lobotomy. Lui dice, la prima traccia di Subconscious Lobotomy, che è appunto Blood on My Skin, è quella lì che va dentro proprio il suo mood di horror, di questa cosa che ha chiesto. Quindi praticamente dice Blood on My Skin è la mia traccia che descrive meglio questa cosa. E io poi l'ho ringraziato del suo tempo, perché comunque siamo già a 41 minuti di diretta, c'è una buona parlantina e questo lo ringraziamo. Ho detto anche mi sono anche scusato perché ogni tanto tossisco, perché qui fa molto freddo, almeno oggi qui a Napoli fa molto freddo. Lui ha detto, cosa è freddo per te? Qui abbiamo qualche grado sotto lo zero, ma siamo sui 4-5 gradi nonostante la primavera stia arrivando. Quindi ci siamo messi un po' a scherzare su questa cosa. Ok, abbiamo parlato dei primi album. Maestro, ti lascio sempre la domanda. Oggi voglio fare più da traduttore che da porre domande, perché in modo tale che mi aggancio poi alle domande che fai tu. Quindi dimmi poi le prossime domande, se vogliamo continuare questa sorta di cronologia con i Centinex. Quindi
allora,
vai, Maestro.
Appunto, gli anni 90 furono degli anni speciali, degli anni importanti, sia per il black metal ma anche per il death metal. Però diciamo che il black metal ha avuto più risonanza, diciamo, perché il black metal si sposava con diversi generi, con diverse situazioni. Invece il death, oltre il jazz, oltre il trash e quant'altro, perché in jazz basta ricordare di Cynic, ad esempio, del trash, poi ci sono veramente tante band, il brutal death, il grindcore e quant'altro, però c'è stata meno vistibilità se si può dire questa parola, verso del death, verso altri generi che non il black. Come mai questa cosa? Come mai questa situazione di poca inclinazione verso altri generi? E quanto anche le zine specializzate del settore del periodo, primissimi proprio anni 90, quindi fine anni 80, primissimi anni 90, quanto sono riusciti a essere importanti verso il death rispetto al black metal?
So Martin, the Maestro want to make a comparison, between death and black metal, since in the the beginning of 90s, there were the genres that basically they pop up from nothing, and underlying nothing, they start a movement, And while he said, while the black metal is from itself and has his own evolution, the death metal were influenced a lot by, for example, we have Cynic more on a lot of jazz infusion influence, or the death and thrash metal and stuff. How was the evolution of death metal during the years? And he asks about also the fanzine, since we have also our fanzine, our printed fanzine. How were important the fanzines back in the day, and in what kind of way they contributed to the evolution and to the development of death metal back in the days?
Fanzines were really important, but in a way, I mean, the death metal movement in Sweden. Now I'm talking about how it was in Sweden in the early 90s, like from 1990 up to I think like 1993, 94. That was like the death metal was the big thing, and there were a lot of death metal bands. But then around 93, 94, in my opinion, the black metal movement started to grow, and this it had something to do with like the church burnings in Norway, and in general, like I think black metal became a bit trendy around that time when when bands like Burzum and Emperor and whatever released their albums, and so a lot of those Swedish bands who used to play death metal, they turned into black metal, and then it came like this more like melodic. I mean, in Sweden it was quite popular with more like a melodic death metal, black metal hybrid, like bands for in the similar way as Dissection and this. So around, let's say, the second part of the 90s, like from 95 up till 2000 or something, the more old school death metal was like quite dead in Sweden. It was more like people were into black metal, and also this like more very melodic death metal, but this old school Stockholm style death metal was quite dead. But in the beginning, in the 90s, of course, fanzines had a very important role in everything, because fanzines were the way where you got to knowledge and got to know about new bands and read interviews. I mean, today you get everything on the internet and all the websites, but back then in the early 90s, you have to read. You go to the show, to different concerts and to the shows, and you bought some fancies from people there who are selling it, and you got some flyers, and that way you got to discover and to check out new bands. So really, I mean, magazines, printed fanzines back in the early 90s, they had like a really big important role in spreading like the music, and also it was really important. I mean, when we were sending out the demo tapes to, and we wanted to spread the music, we sent it to fanzines. There were a lot of fanzines in both Sweden and everywhere around the world. So fansigns were like really important. So nowadays, I mean,
do you remember a particular Swedish fanzine that you want to bring us to the memory, just for fun things that you remember back in the days?
No, sorry, I don't remember.
Too much years ago, I think.
Yeah. But
okay.
Oh yeah, I'm sure someone will complain after this interview that, didn't you remember my fansigns? But yeah, there were a lot, and it was like that was. I mean, for example, when we released the end of life demo tape in '91, I think the first. I mean, when we released the demo, I think we pressed like, I don't know, 200 copies or 250 copies or something to start with the first pressing, and I'm sure we sent like 100 copies of them just to fansigns, and also some maybe radio stations, like local college radio stations, and also record labels. So it was really important. The fansigns were like important in order to spread music, and also, I mean, those people who were releasing fansigns and printing fansigns, they were like really enthusiastic and like really into it. Nowadays, I mean, basically anyone can do a internet web magazine or whatever, but back then and also the editors for fansigns back in the early days, I mean, they were like really important people in the scene. They were like I mean, there were some known editors in Sweden who were almost like, let's say, almost like rock stars. They were almost like as important as the members in some certain bands. They were like, that's that. When you went to a show and then you saw that guy, that's the editor of this and this fansign. I will give him a demo, and let's hope we will get a good review. So the fansigns were like really. Fansigns were the way of spreading bands, that together with flyers, but I mean the small copied fansigns, they could sell like several hundred copies in Sweden, because the editors went to different shows and sold them. So those were like really important.
Okay. Translating this part, and we go further with the question. Ok, praticamente dice che Maestro dice che ha molto rispetto per chi fa le fanzine al giorno d'oggi, perché all'inizio per loro era una cosa eccezionale finire su DS, perché lui parla proprio quando hanno stampato The End of Life, la maggior parte delle copie, su tipo 200-250 copie, 100-150 sono andate solo alle zine, perché prima chi aveva le zine, gli editori erano comunque personaggi rispettati, rispettabili nella scena, che si facevano tutti i concerti e che comunque avevano un loro giro che permetteva alle band comunque di essere riconosciute e di avere la recensione, l'intervista. Erano per noi una cosa eccezionale. Infatti lui deve molto alle fanzine e rispetta molto coloro che, nonostante tutto, oggi che dice è facilissimo aprire un blog, aprire un sito, fare anche la fanzine. Per quanto concerne la questione, diciamo, degli anni 90 tra death e black metal, lui dice che praticamente in Svezia nei primi anni 90 fino al 93-94 c'era tanta scena death metal, lui lo chiama il sound di Stoccolma, no? Come abbiamo detto prima. Poi si è evoluto verso nel 94-95 verso il black metal, di cui molta gente, perché ha visto quello che stava succedendo in Norvegia, è proprio saltato sul carro del vincitore, diciamo. Poi dopo si è creata tutta una sorta di scena che sappiamo bene attorno al death metal melodico, e quindi praticamente la prima ondata di death metal, diciamo, era quasi sopita, però le fanzine, ancora lui ripete, sono stati di vitale importanza proprio per far sì che, nonostante il trend sia passato avanti, comunque la scena rimaneva, perché ripetiamolo, questi editori andavano in giro, parlavano, stampavano, si faceva il trading, si scambiavano, si andava lì, era tutta un'altra cosa. Lui dice è stato vitale e ricorda con affetto queste fanzine, che ne erano tante. Gli ho chiesto se se ne ricordasse una, lui purtroppo non se ne ricorda, perché dice che sono passati tanti anni, però ricorda proprio il fatto di sfogliarle, di leggerle, quindi per lui hanno una buona considerazione sull'evoluzione della scena durante gli anni. Quindi detto ciò ti lascio sempre alla prossima domanda, maestro, così oggi ci dividiamo i compiti e stai col microfono mutato. Quindi ecco qua. Vediamo se ce la fa.
Se invece parliamo delle etichette, quindi oltrepassiamo appunto le fanzine e andiamo sulle label, quanto l'Agonia, label polacca, è riuscita a portare la fortuna dei Centinex o ai Centinex che hanno portato la fortuna all'Agonia? Che secondo me è la seconda, che proprio i Centinex sono riusciti a far sì che l'Agonia diventasse una label quotata, ora come ora. Questa storia delle label, quanto è difficile le band attuali rispetto agli anni 90 essere scritturate da etichette però che hanno una filosofia, c'è una filosofia lato umano e non solamente al lato di soldi, quindi monetario.
Ormai te la divido in due perché abbiamo visto che Martin parla tanto, va a finire che si concentra più su un'altra cosa. So the next questions, it's basically 2-in-1 questions. The maestro is asking about the label side, the label things back in the days, and also your collaboration with Agonia Records, and what kind this relationship got on from what years and how it was developed, and then while it's developing right now. And also he asks about your opinion about nowadays, since we have a lot of labels, a lot of possibility to publish music. So how can a band should pick the right label or the right partner to publish music, to create a relationship with his art, his music, and not asking about some business side and money side. He talks about the human relationship behind a band and a label. And also the maestro said that in his opinion Centinex did a great job to make Agonia Records go up in their consideration as label, because a lot of people recognize Agonia from your work, for your publishing with them. But how is this relationship going on, and basically the collaboration, the stuff, the stuff behind it with your band? Can you describe something about it?
Yeah, a lot of questions there. No,
yeah,
but
yeah.
I mean,
for this reason, it's a very good question that the
but
maestro.
We can put it easily this way, that in the early 90s, when death metal was quite popular, there weren't that many record labels, but if you were a good band, you were able to get a record deal. But of course, the record deals, they weren't as good as they are today. I mean, back in those days, it was more like underground, but still there were someone releasing your albums. But then, like in the late 90s and early 2000s, when death metal wasn't so trendy anymore, it was harder to get the record deal. But then when the internet came and everything, and it was like easier to print records, then of course the amount of record labels also, it was like easier for each and everyone to start a record label. So in a way it was easier to also to get the record deal. But the difference is today that, I mean, everyone putting out an album or just like releasing it on Spotify or whatever, they can call themselves a record label. But for me, a record label has always been some person or persons or company who are like really supporting the band and investing money in the band and like promoting the band, and that's like really the way. And I mean, I know that many people are talking today that, but you don't need a record label, you can release it yourself well, yeah, you can release it yourself, but in the end, if you have a good record label, you are never able to do it yourself the same amount of work and the same amount of promotion as some kind of professional record label is doing. So in my opinion, it's always better to have a record label, if it's a good label, of course, to have a label taking care of the business side, so you as a band can concentrate on creating like the music and creating good albums, but someone else is taking care of the business side. So yeah, the thing with Agonia, we have been with Agonia since 2014, and Agonia, they were approaching me already like some years before that, and wanted to sign the band, but back then we were held up with another record label, so we couldn't sign with Agonia. But yeah, the thing, I mean, our relationship and our contract with Agonia has been really good. It's really like album by album, and it's more our relationship is quite like more of a friendship relationship. Of course, there is the business side. Of course, we understand that they, as a record label, they want to earn money. Every record label who is like professional, they want to earn money. They don't do it for charity or for being nice. There is some kind of business thought behind it, and that's obvious. You have to have it if you're running a business, if you're running a record label, and you want a success and you want to grow. Of course, you have to earn money. But still, I think our relationship with Agonia is still that there is some kind of friendly fan-based relationship, but we also understand that they wanna earn money so they can grow. No, but so it has been working fine, but we are like really taking it album by album, and we don't have any like long-term contract, but we negotiate
album by album, not a long-term multiple albums agreement.
No, and that has been and we have like said, and we are both fine, both the label and we as a band are fine with it. So we, before every recording and before every album, we take a discussion, and I ask them, are you interested to release this album or our next album? And they say, yeah, and then we negotiate about some terms and stuff, and then we take it from there. So it's a good mixture of like a professional contract and connection, and some kind of fan friendship connection. So it's working really fine, and of course you never know what happens in the future, but right now we are like really satisfied with everything and how everything is working.
Ok, quindi praticamente Alan, I'm translating it in Italian right now. Yeah. Praticamente Alan lì ha un'idea che penso che abbiamo tutti quanti, c'è un'etichetta da investire insieme alla band, perché comunque dice un'etichetta non fa carità, non lo fa perché vogliono fare un piacere a qualcuno, lo fanno perché hanno un business e devono mandarlo avanti. Adesso dice che è molto più facile avere un contratto rispetto ai primi anni 90, perché più o meno tutti quanti lo possono fare, però dice avere un'etichetta dietro che lavora bene è molto importante, perché tu puoi sempre pubblicare l'album da solo, perché i canali ce li hai, però hai un aiuto di chi è professionalmente abile nel promuovere l'album, nel fartelo girare e far concentrare di più l'artista sulla musica e non sull'aspetto che comunque è di business, ma comunque un artista dovrebbe imparare da zero. Ovviamente la storia ci insegna che molte band hanno anche fatto questo, tipo soprattutto nella questione più panchettosa, no? Però lui dice di trovare bene i partner, e loro si trovano molto bene con Agonia Records, perché gli propone un deal per ogni disco, quindi non è una cosa a lungo andare, però loro hanno sì un rapporto lavorativo ma anche un rapporto da fan, no? Loro sono fan dei Centinex e quindi loro discutono ogni volta di rilasciare appunto gli album, e quindi lui dice per adesso ci troviamo molto bene, ogni volta che dobbiamo prima di rilasciare un album, ci confrontiamo, poi il futuro non si sa cosa riserverà, però intanto loro è dal 2014 che stanno con la Gonia Records, si trovano molto, molto bene.
Invece parlando dell'ultimo disco The Pestilence, l'ultimo EP, excuse me.
Okay.
Quanto questo EP può riuscire ad entrare all'interno di una tela di un regista horror, ma allo stesso tempo di un pittore completamente squilibrato che riesce a capire la natura interna ed esterna della filosofia Centinex.
Okay, the Maestro is jumping, about your last EP, The Pestilence. He's asking about also the composition process, if you can adapt the album, the sound to something really crazy. For example, he did a metaphor between a crazy painter or basically some setting in a horror side, in a horror movie. He loves horror, as you can imagine. So he wanted to ask not only the part of the more simply part of the composition, but also all the stuff around the concept. He called the craziness about it. Just to and I want to add something about the how can you describe it for people that never listened to Centinex before?
Yeah, the Pestilence EP, in a way, yeah, it sounds like a typical Centinex stuff, but there is maybe a bit more like thrash metal elements into the music. So it's a mix between like death metal and more like 80s German thrash metal. And that's like a direction I think we are going to explore even more in the future. But yeah, once again, I mean, when we were writing some new material, last year, and we wanted to record something, and then we just decided to record an EP instead of a full-length album. Due to various reasons. But again, we let the music do the talking. I mean, we made a 5-track recording of material we like and we enjoy to play, and we call it like death thrash metal or whatever. And then again, it's up to each and everyone to listen to it and analyze it and try to, if they want to put it some label on it or want to associate it against some movie or painting or whatever. I mean,
yes, as you discussed before, actually.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, I understand that you are like interested to know about these things because you are into like art and movies and everything. But really, I mean, Centinex it's a death metal band. We play death metal. We create and play and record music we like, and we don't like really. I mean, everyone in the band is like they have different interests. I can say that no one in the band is like really into like art or anything, and we don't like we consider it's just music, and then we don't really have any like connections to and try to like connect the music to some kind of mood or feeling or movie or painting or book or any kind of art form. For us, the art form is like doing the music.
Okay.
And that's like it's entertainment basically.
Quindi Maestro, per loro è intrattenimento, loro non vedono oltre che la musica, non riescono ad associarla a qualsiasi altra forma d'arte perché loro fanno musica. Dice che questa release The Pestilence è concentrata più su una sorta di death thrash metal influenzato molto dalla parte teutonica, e io gli ho chiesto di dare delle sensazioni, disse a noi piace fare questa cosa, vogliamo esplorare questa parte di musica. Io a sto punto gli chiederei, Maestro, se sei d'accordo, quale band thrash metal tedeschi a loro piacciono, cioè l'hanno influenzati per questa release. So Martin, since you talked about a kind of hybrid between death and thrash metal for the Pestilence, what are your favorite German, you say that German thrash, favorite German thrash band that influenced you in this way of doing death metal? Because you talked about this kind of hybrid, so thrash metal from Germany, I think Sodom, Creator, but you have some more names to
exactly. It's like Solomon Creator, when that Death Row Tank Card. But basically, I mean, I really like it has to be the old stuff. It has to be the old
old school thrash metal.
Yeah, okay. Exactly. And it should be how they sounded and the albums they released during the 80s. I'm not so much interested in the latest Creator album or the latest Sodom album, but I love the albums they released in the 80s. So that's I mean, when I started to listen to metal back in the mid 80s, I started with these typical bands like Kiss and Wasp and Twisted Sister, and then you were like always like looking for harder and harder bands. So from those classic heavy metal albums, from those albums, I went to like Accept and King Diamond and stuff, and then I discovered thrash metal, and then I discovered Venom, and then I found death metal. So but those old German thrash metal albums from the 80s, they are like really important for me, and they have like really they have been a big part of my whole interest in harder music. So
basically you are rediscovering your roots with the Pestilence.
I am, and I mean nowadays I don't buy any new albums, or I haven't heard the latest albums from Creator, or I haven't heard the latest albums from any new bands. I'm really like not, to be honest, I'm not so interested in any new releases. I hardly listen to a lot of music at all because I don't have time to listen to anything. But when I do, then I really enjoy listening to albums released in the 80s, the same albums that I listened to when I was a kid and when I discovered heavy metal and thrash metal and death metal. So I have like really gone back to the circle is closed. I have gone back to the roots, and these albums I listened to when I was a kid, and the albums that like really colored my interest in metal. They are also the same albums that are like influencing my writing now. So those influences can be heard on the material we are playing now.
Ok, perfetto. Ok, let me translate this and go to the next question. Allora, praticamente lui dice Sodom Creator, ma non i Sodom Creator nuovi, ma i primi. Quindi lui praticamente sta riscoprendo le origini. Sì, perché lui ha iniziato con gli Accept, i Twisted Sister, King Diamond. Dice che adesso non ascolta più nuova musica, va a riscoprire quello che lo appassionava quando ha iniziato il viaggio in questo genere, e questo lo influenza ancora oggi nello scoprire nuova musica. Praticamente ha detto questo, ha detto lui ascolta tanta musica, ha detto che ovviamente di non fraintendere, non è che non ascolta più nulla, quando ascolta musica che appunto come se si chiudesse il cerchio, no? Dice ritorna un po' alle origini, gli ho detto sì, ritorno alle origini con i miei vecchi ascolti, che trae ancora ispirazione, e quindi io gli ho detto Sodom e Creator, ho detto sì, ma i primi album, non quelli, non ascolta i nuovi dei Creator e i nuovi di Sodom, ascolta quelli vecchi, insomma.
Se facciamo entrare i Centinex appunto nell'horror, quindi visto che appunto la questione horror
No, ma lui ha detto che comunque su questo punto...
No. Voglio chiedere un'altra cosa.
No, che se non avevo tradotto quella parte...
No, voglio chiedere un'altra cosa. Quali sono i suoi attori preferiti dell'horror? Fulci, Bava, poi chi? Oltre a Fulci e Bava italiani, conosce qualcuno oltre Dori Argento?
Okay.
E in Svezia esistono dei registi underground di film horror?
Okay, Martin, let's digress into another topic for a minute. Since you say that for you the music of Centinex is just music, everyone can see his point of view without any problem, but the Maestro wants hardly to know your favorite Italian, if you follow the horror film, Italian horror films such as Fulci, Argento, and if you can suggest also some movie like that in Sweden. If you have some Swedish directors that maybe here in Italy they are unknown, just to bring them light, just to pick this topic too, because he really wanted to know this, because basically he saw your music and the horror, the horror theme, the death metal and the horror just in the same way. So basically he wanted to know, just a curiosity, something that nobody knows. And you can put it only on Il Calice Nero tonight, basically.
But I really, you are asking the wrong guy, because
Okay.
I don't know anything about movies. Yeah, I know this Italian director. What was his name?
Fulci, the
Bava,
Argento. Yeah.
Okay.
He has made some known movies, but we don't have. I mean, the
you are
Italian,
not so into that horror stuff, right?
No, I mean, I know that I know that the Italian horror movies, they are like these old horror movies. They are like, that's like a well known in the world, and they have like a cult reputation and everything. But we don't have any kind of that kind of like movement or history in Sweden when it comes to. Of course, we have like directors like Ingmar Bergman and stuff who have made some quite dark movies, but we don't have any that kind of like horror movie history as Italy have.
Okay.
In Sweden, we only have Sweden is known for their porn movies, like the naughty
Okay.
ones.
No, basically people know Sweden for death metal and IKEA. We didn't know
exactly.
the third part. Okay.
No, but I mean, honestly, sorry, but I'm
no,
like really not.
That's not problem.
I'm not
just
into
a
movies.
Fun fact that we want. Just a fun fact that we want to know, since we always ask those questions with our guests, because basically extreme metal and horror movies are something that way together, goes together. That those things goes together. Those two topics, you know. So basically, we want to know a little fun fact that just to. Because Il Calice Nero is not only an interview, a formal interview. We want to take just informal, because we love to talk and pick the curiosity and stuff that basically you cannot express in other interviews and other stuff. It's more into I think that you notice that on the art side, the music and the art side, so no problem about it. Maestro, lui non conosce tanti direttori svedesi, perché lui non è proprio in quest'ambito, però lui dice: io conosco Argento, però la Svezia è conosciuta per i film porno, lui dice. Quindi fondamentalmente c'è il microfono mutato ancora, Maestro.
È meglio così. No,
meglio così, perché dice che alla fine dice che ci stanno dei direttori della fotografia, dei registi che hanno fatto dei film oscuri, no? Dal mood oscuro, però non hanno il movimento che abbiamo noi in Italia praticamente. E io ho detto: guarda che noi conosciamo il dalla Svezia, death metal e Ikea. La terza parte dei film, diciamo, a luci rosse non la sapevamo, e quindi siamo messi a scherzare su questo.
Informarci sui film a luci rosse.
Io ho detto che comunque il nostro tipo di intervista è così, è un po' per spingere a tirar fuori argomenti che di solito non si tirano fuori durante le interviste. Di solito horror e metal estremo vanno a pari passo. In questo caso c'è l'eccezione, però. Vai, Maestro, prossima domanda.
Facciamo le ultime due, che dici?
Sì, va bene. Martin, if you are with us with the last two questions, and we will end. Oh, you have time. We have to go.
Yeah, I'm fine.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, perfect. The last two questions for you, and basically we will end the episode. After that, again, guys, la facciamo quella di Massimo, Maestro. There is a question from Massimo here. It's about the album Decadence. He says that this album is different than the old ones, your standard. He really loved that album. He said that it's more on the melodic part. Is it correct? How do you feel about this album back in the days, 2004?
Yeah, it sounds a bit different. I mean, if you compare the Decadence album to the first Centinex album, of course they sound quite different. I mean, as it is with many bands, they do develop during the years and maybe change their style a little bit. I mean, we never changed our style in a way that, or it was never planned that we planned that, oh man, let's change it in a different way. But of course, when you change members and you get you get better on your instrument and everything, the music changes. So yeah, Decadence album from 2004, it was it's quite different. It's a bit more like trashier, more like a melodic thrash, sounding a bit like At the Gate kind of style, a bit more like Gothenburg style. And that was like also, that album draw the band to a peak where we realized that we don't want to go any further into the melodic thrash death metal thing than this.
It was a kind of experiment, but you want to change the way basically from.
Maybe it wasn't an experiment. It was a natural progress all the time. But when we had recorded the album, we realized that I realized that I don't want to go any further than this. That this is like the most, let's say, light version of Centinex. So then the follow-up, the Word Declension album we released in 2006, that was much more like a brutal and more, with more blast beats and stuff. So that was like we are going back to the more like old school, older sound. So Decadence was like really, if you started a band and the first album, Subconscious Lobotomy from 92, and then we released the albums, they were like developing all the time. But then when we released Decadence, that was like the peak. Then after that, we decided that no more. We have to try to find back to the more roots of the band. But there were also, I mean, the Decadence, the lineup on Decadence was completely different than it was in the beginning of the band. We had good guitarists playing who were like competing on playing guitar solos and everything. So as I said, it wasn't any planned progress. It was a natural progress, but still it was like the peak that we really decided that.
But just bam, and then you wanted to return to the straightforward, the fist in your chest, that metal that you used to play back.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, because when you are playing in a band together and you have different members, and of course you develop the music and the style in the different ways, but sometimes you realize that now we have like reached a peak that we don't want to do, like we don't want to go anymore into the like melodic death metal, thrash metal style. We have to try to find the more like basic core of Centinex, what it's all about. So so Decadence was like really the peak of everything, and then we tried to find back.
So, Massimo Martin ha detto che comunque Decadence è stato un album che è stato naturale per lui, e però comunque hanno raggiunto un picco dove hanno fatto questa sorta di album death trash melodico tipo At the Gates, però non hanno voluto più continuare questa strada perché sono voluti proprio ritornare un po' alle origini, volevano fare comunque il loro death metal, quindi hanno fatto, io l'ho chiamato esperimento, uno dice no, non è stato un esperimento perché comunque è stato naturale, erano quello che volevano fare in quel momento, ma poi hanno realizzato una volta pubblicato l'album che volevano ritornare alla parte più aggressiva, più, io ho detto da fist in your chest, no? E quindi i Centinex sono ritornati un po', infatti dici già nell'album successivo, che è appunto World Declension del 2005-2006, loro già sono ritornati a essere quelli di una volta perché poi hanno cambiato line-up e tutto il resto, quindi rispetto ai loro standard sì, più melodici, si sono soddisfatti, ma comunque hanno voluto cambiare registro e sono comunque ritornati al loro sound, quello lì che li ha fatti conoscere in tutto il mondo. Maestro, un'altra domanda?
Martin, qual è stato il bassista più brutale che hai mai ascoltato nel death metal? Qual è quello che ti ha impressionato anche di più? Non solo a livello tecnico, proprio come riusciva ad esprimere in maniera allucinante il death metal all'interno del proprio basso. I Centinex fino a che punto si vorranno spingere a livello brutale? Faranno un album completamente brutal death al 100% style?
Okay, he's asking about the bassist. Your most favorite and impressive death metal bass player you have seen, or you have to not compare, but what you look after. You say, oh, I saw that bassist. Wow, how can basically someone that was really impressive about playing bass in death metal, and also he's asked about the evolution of Centinex. There is a possibility to get more a brutal version of Centinex for the next release.
Well, yeah, I mean, first of all, about bassist, I don't really. I mean, a bassist is an important person in a band, no matter if it's like a normal metal band or death metal band or whatever. But I have never. I mean, I write most of the music, or like all the music in Centinex now. But when I write music, I write it on a guitar. I'm not a good guitarist. I'm more like a songwriter.
Okay.
I play bass because there are other guys who are better on guitar than me. So I have never like seen I have never like how would you say, admired any like bassist in death metal and thought that, oh, that's like a good. I mean, of course, bass is important in death metal because it gives the bottom, but still, I mean, yeah, I don't see like any important. I don't have any important like bassists in death metal that I really like think that, oh, that's like a good bassist. It's more about the combination. In general, I'm not found or impressed by like a really good guitarist or good bassist, a good drummer. Of course, yeah, it's nice to see them play if they are like playing well. But all in all, if you have a band, it's like a combination. Everyone has to be like equally good and able to deliver like a good track, and you can deliver a good track and create a good track and write a good track even if you're not like the super maestro on your instrument. But of course, with that said, there are a few bassists I admire, but that's more that I admire them because how they are as persons or how they are like.
Okay, so not music wise, but just like their attitude, you know, I can say.
Yeah, I mean, iconic bassists like Lemmy or Steve Harris or Cliff Burton or something. Yeah, they are like I admire them for being like who they are, and like some kind of role models in those for that kind of music, or iconic or whatever. But in general, when you are looking at the band and what the band creates, I mean, if you have a super good guitarist, but a lousy bassist and a lousy drummer and a worthless vocalist, the band won't be good. You have to have all the members in the band creating this music together and performing this music together. And again, it's not about being super technical. I mean, even if you are a super technical guitarist or bassist or whatever, it doesn't mean automatically that you are creating good music. I mean, nowadays it seems that many bands, they are so focused on the individual members in a band. They are so focused on being good musicians. It's not about that. It's about creating good music together. I mean, there are a lot of great tracks which are three different chords put together. It's not about the technical, how fast you are as a drummer to playing blast beats in 280 BPM or something, or doing guitar solos like Yngwie Malmsteen. It's not about that. It's about how you create it together and get some kind of honest feeling in the music. That's something that's always has been important for me, and that's something I want to reach in the bands and with the people I'm playing with. So
okay.
I think
that's a very interesting answer, because people usually say that I love that basis because of the slap, of the sweep picking, but
exactly.
you say that
and
you love the person behind the instrument, basically.
Yeah, and it doesn't matter if you have a really super technical bassist in the band, but you aren't able to create good music. That's also a misconception. I mean, many people are thinking that just because you are technical or you are fast or whatever, you are automatically creating good music, or being being in a good band. That has nothing to do about it. It's everything is about the personal taste, and everything is about how you create something together. But I mean, now and that's a lot of the feeling that was in the early 90s, and even the 80s and 70s, when bands were, it was about the feeling and what you are doing together. But nowadays, and also this is due to the technical evolution with with the studio techniques, and with all the triggers, and with all the you can put anyone can go into the studio, no matter how lousy you are playing your instrument. You can still come out from the studio with something that sounds very professional, because you're cheating in the studio. You can, when you do your hard drive recordings, and you can move everything, and you can put everything super tight and everything. It's
yes, the quantization, basically. Just put everything
exactly,
on.
And you can have a super shitty drummer, but you can move every drum beat, and you can put it super tight, and you can have the auto tuning and the vocals, and you can copy paste every guitar tone and everything. So you can, in the studio today, you can create whatever you want. So and a lot of that's one of the things in the scene that I'm which is pretty annoying, is this that everything is about some kind of technical thing, that you are labeling and the bands are based upon how technical they are, or how super tight they are, or how fast they play or something. But somewhere you're forgetting the music, which is the most important thing. The music, the tracks, how they affect you, how you listen to them. I mean, there are many people who are Yeah, they admire in drummers who are very fast. Yes, they can play fast. They can play 300 BPM fucking blast beat.
But
But
where
it's
is the music?
Yeah, what is the
Okay.
music? And what is the music? The music is completely soulless. It's like just there's like no feeling, no soul, no nothing to the music.
Quindi il lato maestro, Martin is explaining maestro the human and the musical attitude, quindi la musica dei musicisti. Lui non ammira un bassista. By the way, I'm translating what you say. Non ama un bassista perché fa lo sweep, fa lo slap, ma perché è una brava persona, perché c'è un'attitudine. Ha nominato Steve Harris, Lemmy per esempio, o altri. E lui dice che in studio alla fine si bara perché si quantizza, si triggera, si fa l'editing. Lui quello che dice è una cosa molto importante, che è la musicalità che viene a mancare spesso nelle band
moderne. La semplicità, diciamo.
Quindi dice lui, prima dovevi per andare in studio essere preparato, adesso qualsiasi persona può andare in studio e essere editata, quantizzata, lui dice spostata per spostare i colpi, eccetera. Però, dice lui, dove sta la musica, dove sta il feeling? Quindi lui non ti sa dire tanto un bassista, un batterista, un cantante. Lui dice al giorno d'oggi i musicisti devono essere bravi tutti per far sì che una band va avanti, perché giustamente non puoi avere un chitarrista che fa mille assoli tipo Young Malmsteen e un batterista che non sa andare a tempo e un chitarrista che è un bassista che poi va fuori tempo, ecco. Dice lui, poi in studio li puoi mascherare queste cose, però poi dal vivo come fai fondamentalmente? Quindi lui parla proprio di questa mancanza di attitudine, questa voglia dell'esaltazione del singolo musicista, quando quello che deve essere esaltato in realtà è la musica, la canzone, la composizione. Quindi lui guarda le persone per la musicalità, non per quanto vanno veloci o per quanto sono tecniche. Poi ci ha fatto un sacco di esempi come si può andare avanti anche citando, no? Dice lui in studio, però poi è dal vivo che si vedono di che pasta sei fatto. Ed è una cosa molto bella vedere che si pensa alla musica e non si pensa alla tecnica per una volta, in un genere come il death metal che ha quanto tecnico comunque. Quindi diciamo che lui ha ripetuto i concetti più volte perché comunque è entrato proprio dentro questo argomento, però di base sono queste le cose. Maestro, che dici? La facciamo la domanda finale?
Visto che si sta bevendo birra, però digli assolutamente la birra non è accettata, nel senso come risposta, perché visto che ha bevuto birra, quindi non è giusto.
Okay. Martin, since our podcast is called il Calice Nero, which in English means the black calice, you know? We also want to see this calice not only as a ritualistic and stuff, also as something in friendship. We see that, of course, you love beer. You was drinking some beers, you know, and we want to exclude beer from this topic. And we want to ask you the perfect beverage, the perfect drinks that you can say, okay, if you want to listen Centinex, you have to drink that. What is this drink, in your opinion? No beer allowed in this question, because
no beer, no,
but I don't know, wine, any kind of wine, any kind of liquor. We say no beer. We say no beer, not because we ate. I personally don't drink, but because we see you drinking so much. So just to change drink, you know.
It should be a screwdriver. Vodka and orange juice.
Screwdriver. And since anybody said screwdriver, why screwdriver is perfect for Centinex?
Because screwdriver is so good. It's like you get the alcohol and you get the orange juice. So
quindi ragazzi, per voi fan dei Centinex, screwdriver, quindi succo d'arancia e vodka.
Aspetta, la vodka quale però? Quella
which
polacca?
kind of vodka? Which kind of vodka want to know the
polacca
most?
O russa? Quale vi piace di più?
Swedish. Maestro is asking about Swedish, because Maestro said, what about Polish or Russian vodka?
No Russian.
No Russian.
Okay.
Absolute vodka from Sweden.
Okay. Quindi from your home country, basically.
Exactly.
Sweden. And just to go just a little in depth before closing this episode, because we here in Italy knows the Polish, the Russian vodka, but not the Sweden vodka. Can you describe the Sweden vodka? I don't know the flavor, the alcoholic grade, the strongness of the vodka, because it's kind of strange to see a death metal band with this screwdriver drink. It's very strange. In fact, very interesting point of view.
No, but I like vodka. But yeah, Swedish vodka, the absolute vodka.
Okay,
that's like a word known, and it's like 40%, and it doesn't like really taste anything. It's like usually if you have like Russian vodka or Eastern European vodka or something, it's pretty. It tastes something, but absolute vodka.
Pure alcohol, basically. The Swedish vodka.
Yeah, pure alcohol. It doesn't taste like anything. So you can drink it as a schnapps or whatever, but absolute vodka together with orange juice, that becomes perfect.
So, for you guys that loves to listen Centinex with some drink with you, screwdriver is the choice of Martin.
Yeah.
Quindi ragazzi, la scelta va allo screwdriver. Maestro, cosa ne pensi di questo screwdriver? Intanto Martin, io ho detto no birra perché abbiamo visto che l'ama la birra, quindi
io cosa ne pensi di questo? Che gli piace la vodka non russa, giusto?
Svedese perché dice che l'absolute vodka svedese praticamente alcol e basta, non ha gusto. Quindi invece lui dice che quella là polacca o quella là est europea c'ha un po' di gusto, invece lui vuole proprio la mazzata.
Sì, perché c'ha il sapore, sia quella russa che la polacca c'ha il sapore, un retrogusto.
Maestro, cosa ne pensi di questo screwdriver? Che è una risposta che non mi sarei mai immaginato.
Non lo conosco.
L'hai mai assaggiato?
No, non l'ho mai assaggiato. Che gusto ha? Che sapore ha?
Vodka con succo d'arancia. Praticamente. Maestro never tasted a screwdriver.
Proverò.
And he will try it while listening to Centinex.
Yeah, he should try it. Absolutely.
And we will give you a feedback afterwards. We give you a feedback if
good.
The Maestro, don't kill yourself with the vodka, okay? Just a tiny shot and you were good to go, because you have to enjoy alcohol as you enjoy music.
Infatti, vodka, Centinex, perfect.
Yeah,
okay.
Yes.
Also, beer and Centinex are perfect, but it's just to change, just to change drink, just to say something else. Okay.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Thank you,
again from Maestro here and the Anarca.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you.
Fantastic interview.
You spend a good Friday night talking with us about Centinex.
Yeah, absolutely.
You are always welcome here to Il Calice Nero about speaking about the future release. So please stay in touch with us, because we will bring you again on the show
per il live.
When you will release other stuff. And good luck for the next shows with Centinex. And we really hope to meet you here in Italy again after this madness coming up. But I think that something will move. Did you have some tour dates in Europe?
Yeah, we have, and you can check them at our website.
Can you remember us, just for the people, the website?
Centinex.net.
Okay, Centinex.net, all the tour dates on that website. So with the hope to meet Martin on the road again. We want to thank you, everybody, that are hang us with us for this 1 hour, more than 1 hour interview.
More than 1 hour, yeah.
Of course, thanks, Martin, again for your time. And
thank you.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
And
I have to get some more beer.
See you in the next episode, guys.
Yeah,
thank you much again.
Thank
Good
you.
night.
Have a good time. Thank you.
Ciao,
thank
ciao.
you. Bye. Ciao.
Bye.
Bye. Ciao.